I guess all my Indian friends know what a Pandit is. For those who do not, Pandit is the priest who gets people married. It's very simple. So this is my introduction. I thought let me wake you up by some humor in it. And this is actually, people call me in the Bangalore ecosystem of startup Pandit Navratan. So I don't know, somebody's called Shri, somebody's called Pandit. So these are the new methods. But what I'm going to tell you is there are 750 incubators in the country, and we are one of them. So what we do differently, and I thought I would like to share, is my journey becoming a Pandit. And the way that Pandit is defined is, I put the gap between the innovators, the suppliers of the innovations, to the adopters. Pandits are known for their wisdom. I mean, traditionally these were the guides and the gurus, who taught all the students in ashrams. So they're known to be innovative because they taught the whole of the world in medieval times. What I do is connect the startups to the corporates and the governments. And what it does is, it of course is for the mutual benefit. And in Indian marriages, there's something called guna. And guna is 36 of them, I guess. If you meet at least some 18 or 20, you are compatible to get married, right? If you are at 36, you are the best couple on earth. And there are traditionally 7 different subdivisions of it, right? So we've sort of been doing that, of checking the attributes of the providers of innovation to the adopters. And there's a scientific method. Of course, India is known for zeros and a lot of other things. So we took the same kind of concept. There are subcategories, and there are gunas which are met and matched. And some of you would have known horoscope matching, but this is a scientific method. What we do is not horoscope matching, but this is a scientific method. And we do it we go into a do loop. Lots of us do software development. So do loop is done till the match is done. So the marriage has to happen, which doesn't mean that all my attempts of getting adopters and solution providers have been fruitful. No, it doesn't work. Corporates are still 20,000 people talking to 20 people company. Somebody talks French, the other guy talks Arabic. It's not an easy task. But in last 7 years, we learned the art of getting tough marriages also happening. What we do is, traditionally, the unicorns are in the B2Cs. In India, 111 of them right now. And the place that we sit in HSR, 4 kilometers radius of that is 35 of them, I think. So you should visit our center someday. We have a lab as well. But we deal with the tougher parties, the deep tech and the B2Bs or the B2Gs. And I'm referring to Gs because a lot of sustainability, whether it's on policy-driven methods or actual implementation, comes from the G part, the government part. And we deal with tech to sustainability. A whole range of it is what we try to do. We love to do things which are challenging. If things are moving very smoothly, why do they need us? I mean, priest is not required. You can just go date and get married. So priests are required where there are tough marriages to happen, and there's a definite reason for you to have an adoption of this problem or a use case that you're trying to do. And of course, what everybody knows, the corporates are looking for being competitive advantage having, and the governments and the politicians for social impact. And if I can say, votes. Votes is what defines it, right? That's typically everywhere on earth. So what we do is approach it through matchmaking process, and it has to be very personalized. You can't just have all solutions meeting each other. So if you know, a lot of people know what is a matrimonial site, a common matrimonial site called shadi.com, right? I'm just giving you these analogs because Jose will say that at the end of the 2 days, somebody should remember something has been said here, because we do attend a lot of seminars, right? So I'm just giving that analogy just to make it sure that you're got it. So shadi.com, if you're looking for a singing wife, a wife who sings very well, you just put singing, right? A song, and you get 250 output, right? We don't do that, because that's something which is available on databases, it's available on Google's, and everybody can find it out. We do what a Pandit does. A Pandit does know who are in the town, the potential brides and the potential grooms. And they keep a track of that, which means that it's like an inherent due diligence which is built into us. We are not chartered accountants or MBAs, frankly speaking. We are all hardcore engineers. And this kind of concept of doing guna matching is very critical, because you know we are the third largest ecosystem in the country for startups. We are in terms of numbers with startups. So there's a large number of numbers, and there are lots of startups who have done very good job, but they do not really know how to present it well, and vice versa. So you have to really be able to understand, and believe it, we are not experts in everything. You can be hardcore techie, but you are a lousy marketeer, right? Those kind of things will happen, and since you have very low resources, you do not really have the option of having too many resources with you who are the best in that field. So what we try to do is mentor them and help them. This is like a normal incubation process, right? Nothing new about it. But what we do is we try to see what might work. And corporates have a really tough time, frankly speaking. They've been told by their headquarters, go to India, tell your R&D people to talk to startups. Now that's, you know, a psychological problem, because we have seen a lot of times, these are real case examples where they say, if this becomes successful when the startup has shown something, the first question my boss will ask is, why the hell you didn't do it for 10 years? You know, this is a psychological problem. The other problem is that I might lose a job if I'm in the R&D and I'm known as some tech expert, say in 5G, and somebody with 6 years of experience comes and beats me up. What we try to do is co-create. We say startups, if they have a solution, they usually do not know what the adopters really need. So they think what the industry as a whole needs, and it's like a 50% base has been created. The technology has been developed, the IP has been created, and things like that. Some funding has been done. But the adopters have to really sit with them and tell, this is exactly what I say. See, there are disadvantages and advantages. But what corporates, and when I say corporates, it's adopters, maybe government, public sector, or anybody else. But what we see is corporates have this big brand image, they know the problems, they know the market, the financial muscle exists, but they don't have what the techies have. High tech, highly frugal, very highly customizable. If Jan wants a blue shirt with a pink button, a big standard company won't give it to him, but a startup will give in 3 minutes, right? This is what is the basis of innovation. So we try to see that they don't get frustrated very soon. 13 pages of an NDA, a startup says, sorry, I don't want to deal with you. My lawyer will beat me up, charge me heavy. So these are the things that we try to do to convince even right up to the procurement and the HR guys or the corporates to say, look, boss, this is not 13 page, will never work. So our effort to, it's like, if the Chacha-ji or the uncle is not happy with this marriage, we have to go and convince him first. So the procurement head, the CEO, the CFO, all these guys in the ecosystem, the family members have to be trained to see that there's a new member who is going to come and sit in your family. Not an easy job. Win-win. It's very difficult to have win-win situation, let me tell you, because we've seen a lot of open challenges, a lot of complex matching happening, and at the end of it, you do matching only on the technical part of it. Now comes who owns the IP, will you give me, because I gave you the data, I shared you a lot of classified data to help you groom up. There are 8 formats of engagement we know, and probably 1 or 2 will come in a year or 2. But different type of formats, you can white label them, you can acquire them, you can, there are numerous ways. But those ways actually come after you move out of the technical round. That's where things fail. In India, we say dowry, right? Dowry is spoken when the guy has sort of said, we are here to marry. And then comes this big bang, right? This is exactly what happens. The startup says, look, I have not been well funded. This is my opportunity to make some money, right? You liked it, you praised me well, the price goes up. And there's no what we call is the MRP, maximum retail price, which Indian products all have. There's nothing like an MRP in innovation. So theoretically, you can ask whatever you like. Theoretically, he may say, well, I thought it will be 1/5 the price that you are asking. That was my budget. Where do you fit this to? You have to convince both the sides, and that's where we try to do. So, success stories, people will ask, what are my success stories? And people who have got kids after the marriage. So, kids are the ROIs of this product. But corporates have an NDA, so my mouths have to be shut. But I can explain to you a few examples, and I can take it later afterwards. But we have done something during the Wuhan period. The whole community of all of us, we do not know there was a German co-founder and an Indian co-founder sitting with us who in March 2020 helped 65 air handling devices to be installed remotely through using AR and AI in Wuhan hospitals. And every minute was counting. Every minute was counting. There were challenges because there were language barriers. The German said, it was German machinery. The German said, I am not going to send my engineers to install it, right? And if they don't come and install it, then warranty is null and void. Very standard practice. They remotely helped these guys who didn't have headgear. AR/VR didn't work. So on simple, so 65 of them were installed, and probably we owe a lot to them. These two young, bright startup founders who work day and night install 65 of them. So there are success stories which are in public domain that I can talk about. There are lots of them. I've done 440 of them. So this is this thing. Thank you. I'll just go through 30 seconds of it. We have 3 parents. The Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT, the Secretary sits as a chair. The state that we are in, so the bureaucrats coming here, and the industry. And they all guide us of what we should be doing. We are in 4 states, 7 years, 1,500 market opportunities, and we do not invest into startups, so we remain unbiased and help every startup, deep tech startups in the country, and through our bilateral relationship with 10 countries, anybody who walks into from any color of their skin, we are there to help. We are a connector between all of them. Nasscom is a 35-year-old organization, for most of you might know, which the members are all IT companies. All our partners are non-IT or analog companies. They need their digital innovation. We do deep tech, and these are some of, we run an incubator, but 113 IPs are from our incubation. But 2,500 out of 3,000 deep tech startups are connected to us because that's our bread and butter. We work in all these areas. So happy to answer at the end. Thank you.